If you look at the trends over time, over the past 2 decades, for example, just in higher education, you see trends like in 1966, 60% of all incoming freshmen said it's important for me to keep up to date with current events and with political affairs. You fast forward that to the very end of the 90s, and it drops to about 25%. That is not great news for a democracy. We're a fragile democracy. And we're a fragile democracy because every democracy is fragile. Every democracy depends upon individuals feeling like it is their duty, it's their responsibility to be involved. And so it becomes incumbent on us to then figure out what are experiences that we can provide for students so that they can, in a way that makes sense to them, engage in meaningful ways about dialogue, about important issues, about political events, and so forth. And so the question becomes, you know, in order to have a really democratically engaged person, you have to have someone who has knowledge about democratic processes, students who have engaged in, who have democratic dispositions. That is, they're interested in interacting with people different than themselves. They're interested in engaging in debates about substantive policy issues, for example. And then actual behaviors. What things do students do? Do they vote? Are they involved in their community, and in which ways? And so the question becomes, can we figure out any correlation between experiences that happen at Penn and their likelihood to be more involved on those dimensions? Higher education is a very important institution in our society, but it's only one institution of many. So I do think that that engaging in activities that ask students and faculty to work together with people in the community to address pressing problems, that's where really powerful learning is going to happen. It's not just about higher ed coming in and saying, we're from the university and we're here to help. It's more sort of reaching out and developing those powerful partnerships so that higher education can work alongside other important institutions in our society, community-based organizations, civil society organizations, and really grapple with these problems that we're facing. Important, intractable problems seemingly, you know, poverty, homelessness, difficulties in urban schooling. Those are very, very challenging problems, and higher education is not going to solve those problems for other people, but they may be able to solve some of those problems alongside other people. As an institution, and particularly as someone who works in an ed school, this is a great university, an eminent university that cares deeply about issues of practice. The other thing that's really wonderful about Penn is the ability to very easily work across schools, across disciplines, to work with other people. It really is that ideal of trying to integrate knowledge. It's not just sort of living in your own little field, in your own little area. It's sort of reaching out and figuring out what are interesting and things that we can puzzle through together. And that's just, for me, is tremendously exciting. It's a wonderful group of colleagues, whether it's around issues of access and retention, whether it has to do with the student experience, whether it has to do with developing wise state policy, whether it has to do with developing citizens for a diverse democracy. There's this sense among the group that, that higher education has the capacity to play an incredibly important role in our society, to make very positive change, to potentially help lead and be a part of transformational change. But it means thinking beyond the bonds of the conventional. It means moving beyond just sort of very narrow sort of evaluative research and really trying to reimagine the types of policies, the types of practices that we might engage in so that we can fulfill this larger purpose, this larger public purpose. I'm Matt Hartley. I'm an associate professor in the higher education division and also its chair.